There's just something that draws us to K-drama villains. While some of them are evil to the core, others have complex paths and motivations that make it easy to sympathize. Overall, though, they will resort to any means to get what they want, making us love to hate them and hate to love them all the same. So, in honor of the agony of loving a villain, here are the top 5 villains that we can't help but root for. But beware, there are spoilers ahead. Number 5. Da-kyung in The World of the Married. Now, in contrast to the following mentions, most of the viewers developed a hatred at first sight when this character appeared. Born to wealth with a beautiful appearance, Da-kyung could have been happy, independent, and drama-free in her life as a Pilates instructor. Instead, she decides to become a homewrecker and sets out to wreak havoc on the marriage between the renowned Dr. Ji-sun-woo and her husband, Tae-ho. It was harder to sympathize with Da-kyung at first. She is the third person in marriage, the token child of a rich family. She is arrogant and disrespectful, and never backs down from Sun-woo, even when she's in the wrong. Our blood boils to see her smacking Sun-woo on the head at a family dinner, or kissing Tae-ho passionately during his mother's funeral. It is safe to say that she is pure evil in the guise of a beauty. But things changed when the story flung a twist at our heads. After getting together with his mistress, the husband Tae-ho does the unexpected and starts running back to his wife. We realize that it's the fault of the fickle man, and that Da-kyung was just a fling, a victim of Tae-ho's obsession over his wife. And in the end, Da-kyung had learned. She realized her mistake and understood the misery of being deceived and abandoned. She freed herself from the wrongful relationship and dumped Tae-ho, bringing along her daughter. It didn't help that actress Han So-hee portrayed the character so well, from her multiple facets to her overwhelming sensuality. Therefore, despite playing the villain, she was lauded for her immersion in the role, and basically launched to stardom. Number 4. Wang in Moon Lovers. The interesting villain list just wouldn't be completed without our favorite Wang. In the series, Wang is the 8th prince of the dynasty, and a contender to the throne. After his wife died, he fell for her cousin, the bright and energetic Hae-soo, who is in fact a modern woman that had time traveled. Burning with love, he goes to great lengths to express his feelings, like gifting her a bracelet, making her a poem, and even inviting her to a secret candlelit cavern. And yet, Wang was refrained from responsibilities and was never able to protect Hae-soo in the end. He was forced to wake up from his romantic dream, and his sweet gestures soon came to naught. As a prince, Wang had to face his responsibilities, choose power and his family over love, and eventually gave himself to hatred and evil. But it is hard to hate this villain when he himself is still full of love. Even with power, he longs for Hae-soo, who he can no longer be with. He was jealous when his love turned to somebody else, and channeled his despair into hatred towards the 4th prince Wang So, who now holds Hae-soo's affections. Love him or hate him for his transformation, we can all agree we feel pity for Wang and mourn for how things could have been. At the end of the series, we are somewhat relieved to see him make peace with himself and make amends with the 4th prince, who had since ascended to become the emperor. Sure, Wang had done a lot of bad things, and he had strayed from his initial gentle image, but as the audience, we lament as we see his soul eventually withered. Number 3. Choi Tae-ho in Missing 9. Like the one mentioned above, Choi Tae-ho was not evil from the core. Rather, it is his desire for survival that has led him down a muddy road. Missing 9 follows the flashback of Ra Bong-hee, a survivor after a plane crash on an isolated island. From her fragmented memories of the events, Choi Tae-ho emerges as a fellow survivor of the crash among 8 other people. At first, we are charmed by Tae-ho's kind nature and friendly vibe. However, as time on the island increases, his villainous nature does not shy away from the screen, especially when conflicts arise due to extreme conditions. From splitting a fellow survivor's head on a rock, to strangling an innocent girl, the audiences were enraged at his actions and questioned Tae-ho's sanity. However, there was more than meets the eyes, and this character is not a simple bloodthirsty psychopath. His relentless killing was prompted by a promise from his director, and Tae-ho is just a confused person, afraid to face his past mistake, and driven by fear. Yet, ever since his first crime, there has been no way for the man to come back, no matter how much he lied to himself. The moment Tae-ho cried while having to strangle Jun-oh was just too heartbreaking to watch. He is still a person, one who got lost and had strayed too far to return to normal. The world surely can drive humans to evil in so many ways, And the same can be said for our next villain on the list. Number 2. Sun-ah in The Devil Judge. If The Devil Judge is a wildfire that has continuously topped itself on the chart, Jung Sun-ah is a slow burn that gradually sears into our mind. Love her or hate her, we cannot deny she's a unique villain that raises our curiosity and attraction with her every step and move. In the alternative world of The Devil Judge, Sun-ah first appeared as a meek secretary, but later emerged as a prominent director of a big foundation, holding in her hand a formidable network of politicians who call the shots. From a powerful walk to eyes blazed with determination, Sun-ah appears as an ironclad woman and a worthy opponent against the protagonist Yo-han. Episode after episode, viewers are enticed by the ecstatic and sensual cat-and-mouse chase between these two, with a playful, cunning, and quick-witted Sun-ah on one hand, and the sensible, stern Yo-han on the other. We can't help but be kept on our seats, waiting to see what's the next card in their hands. And Sun-ah is not just a despicable villain. She pays attention to those around her, the vulnerable and helpless women who get harassed and abused behind closed doors. She brings justice to the helpless in her own way, by not trusting the authority, but making the culprits pay with her own hands. As the story progresses, we also get to see the more vulnerable layers of this cunning villain. There was once a Jung Sun-ah who held hopes and dreams, who was willing to sacrifice for Yo-han, the one she loves.
날 위해 그럴 수 있어? 정말?
But she had grown jaded over time, from an innocent and hopeful little girl to a corrupted and power-hungry woman. Still, her actions were acts of yearning. She just wanted Yo-han's eyes always on her. In the end, Sun-ah's death leaves the viewers hung up. It is understandable that once she gets her hands stained, there are consequences. But at the same time, we cannot say that she's an evil being. She was determined to reach a new status in a corrupt environment, and even her demise was decided by her own hands. It's hard not to root for this woman, who is overwhelmingly attractive in both appearance and personality. Finally, we are approaching our number 1 unhateable villain. But before that, here are some honorable mentions. Chon So-jin, Penthouse. Gui, Scholars Who Walks the Night. Pak Bok-ja, Woman of Dignity. Jang Ba-rum, Mouse. And now our number 1, Choi Yoo-jin in The K2. As an iconic villain, Choi Yoo-jin is not to be messed with. She is a merciless and stone-cold individual who will do whatever it takes to reach her goal. Daughter of a conglomerate and wife of an ambitious presidential candidate, she holds a formidable power that no one can match with. She is a manipulative and cunning individual behind a graceful guise and a signature smirk. However, behind the impeccable and flawless makeup is only a hollow shell. Contrary to our initial impression of a brutal and heartless villain, Yoo-jin emerges as a product of her hardship. She is not evil by nature, but is corrupted by her upbringing. Married to Sejun, she has loved him only to know that the marriage is nothing but a rosy glass for the media. She is left alone with the hard truth while he roams around with other mistresses. It deepens the wounds when we learn that the main character, Jae-ha's care, is the only intimacy that she has ever felt. The end for Yoo-jin feels like the breakdown of her shell. She lies with her wound, barefaced and vulnerable, with her feelings laid bare to the audience and to her husband. It hurts us to see her reaching her end without any holes filled. Yet it also comforts us to see her philandering husband finally choose to be by her side. It's her turn to be happy, if only for a fleeting moment. And that's our list. What are your thoughts about these villains? Do you have any other antagonists that you can't help but fall for? Comment to let us know your opinion. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!